Yeah, so I just believe this interactivity will be much better, and it will integrate more easily with everything, and it will just kind of infer more from the points that
I
you're
mean, I
making.
hope so. I mean, for example, in addition to communication skills courses, I have personal development courses as well. One of them is on sleep. So I give people some advice that they could get in any book, for example, which is turn off cell phone and all screens an hour before you go to bed. So nothing particularly brilliant about that, but it would be infinitely more valuable, I think, if I get you to admit, okay, when do you actually want to fall asleep? So that if you say 9:45, at 8:45, you get a text with my face saying, hey, why are you seeing this? You're already messing up your sleep. Power off your phone right now.
Yeah.
Something like that would be very powerful.
I don't think we're that far away from that. I think fundamentally having a really good app-based version of our clone would be good. I know you can kind of create that sort of, but actually having one that does ping up on your phone and your face is there saying, hey, it's time to turn off your phone now would be good. I hope we're not very far away from that, because I think you and I are both banking on that technology being here fairly soon, because I think it takes it.
Well, I'm hoping. I really have no idea. Again, my own experience I'm both pessimistic and optimistic. I'm pessimistic in the sense that I started online training in 1998, and people were already familiar with, I mean, in the 70s, you could take a course by watching a TV show on public TV that was educational. You could do audio courses from people like Anthony Robbins in the 80s, 90s. So people were already used to the concept of a video course. They would get them on VHS, DVD, and it still took 15 years before I really stopped losing money. And it took probably 18 years before I made a lot of money with online courses. But that was built on something people are already familiar with. Nobody's really familiar with the concept of an interactive IA video coach.
Let me just say this.
That's a new thing.
But let's just say this to help maybe alleviate yours and my concerns, is that in September 2022, no one had really heard of AI, no one had really heard of ChatGPT. And then suddenly in November 2022, this ChatGPT came around, and look at where we are now. I think
that's exactly why I am optimistic, because Facebook took 5 years to get 100 million users, and AI and ChatGPT took 2 months. Yeah. So that's what everything seems to be happening much, much faster.
I think there's a race. I think the biggest risk is the platform providers, that they get beaten by someone who comes out with something much better. I mean, there must be so many AI startups that have come and gone by the wayside so quickly because suddenly OpenAI or Anthropic or Meta or whoever has come out and beaten to what they were trying to do much quicker. So it could well be that one of these big platforms decides that this idea of cloning and creating your own knowledge bases, which you can already do in other ways, is something they want to invest in, and that just makes the race much faster. And so I think, like Delphi, have to be developing quickly here, otherwise they're going to get behind. And obviously you and I are putting our eggs in that basket at the moment, but having been on 3 platforms,
but I'm always looking for other baskets too.
Me too. And actually, having moved from one platform to Delphi, it wasn't hugely painful for me, because I'd learned so much about training the knowledge base on the other platform, and I was actually able to export all of that knowledge and pretty much import it into Delphi. So it wasn't a huge
It's a skill set. It is transferable. I mean, it was that way with, I was doing online training. I was creating audio files and using pseudo real streaming and, things that no one, I barely remember it.
You're aging yourself.
All companies that either don't exist or are in completely different fields now.
Yeah, we're, just as a side note that makes you laugh, we've been doing a bit of decluttering in the house, and I was going through my office the other day, and I found a folder full of, there's this coach called Taki Moore, an Australian guy, I don't know if you know him, but anyway, I subscribed back in the 90s to his training, and it consisted every month of getting a paper workbook with a CD at the back of it. And I just found all of these that I haven't looked at for years and thought, yep, that's how it all used to be.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that it's moving at such a fast pace. I'm hopeful that the technology will move fast enough and that, we'll get what we want, because I think our AI clones will become truly useful when they become more proactive. And I think that's the issue. Yes, you can send out broadcasts. Yes, of course, you can integrate your email marketing and send people messages that way, but that isn't the same as what you just described. And what we want is,
I mean, people say, why are you excited about it? And I look across the whole span of my career. I did my first trainings 40 years ago, 1984. And so much of what I did then is the same as what I do now when I'm working in person with a president, a CEO, a politician, a celebrity, where I get them on camera, record them, either doing an interview or speech. We look at it, we figure out what do we like, what do we not like. We do another one. We make it a little better. We do another one. We make it a little better. So by the end of the day, they've gotten on camera a dozen times. They've gone from here to typically here. They've either gone from average to great or awful to really, really, really good. So they see the transformation. It's completely interactive. I'm not giving them any speech. I'm not giving them a PowerPoint. It's completely 100% focused on them, very interactive. I'm driving it. I'm forcing them to practice. I don't say, do you want to do a practice speech? I just turn the camera on and say, speak. So they really have no choice in it. That's what they wanted. And they always get tremendous improvement, and they value it, and they're happy to pay whatever I've charged them, which these days is a lot. So that's one model. So it's highly effective. The downside is 99.9% of the world can't afford it. It's not scalable for me. I got to fly to them. They got to fly to me. It eliminates almost the entire world.
Yep.
That's the downside. Then I went to the model of online training, video training. That's scalable. I've got 10 million course enrollments around the world. So it's scalable. People can do it anytime, anywhere. It's very inexpensive. So that reaches the whole world. It's great for my bottom line as well. Sounds great. The problem is it doesn't have the interactivity. They got to listen to what I want to lecture on for lecture 23. They don't get to talk about. Now, they can make a video and submit it, and I critique it, but virtually nobody does. So it's a passive experience. It's linear. It's one-to-many. It's non-personalized. So huge disadvantages to that model, and yet the advantages are scalable, price, and anyway. So now I come to the clone, and in my mind, this is the best of both worlds, because it's got the interactivity of the thing that I know